A very big news day, jam-packed hour ahead. President-elect Donald Trump held his first news conference in nearly 6 months today, and there is a ton to break down. He answered 17 questions in total on a variety of topics, including Russia, Obamacare, the wall, the handover of his businesses, his taxes, the Supreme Court, and more. But he kicked it all off with a response to the bombshell, unsubstantiated new reports that Russia has compromising personal and financial information about Mr. Trump.
I want to thank a lot of the news organizations here today because they looked at that nonsense that was released by maybe the intelligence agencies, who knows, but maybe the intelligence agencies, which would be a tremendous blot on their record if they in fact did that. A thing like that should have never been written, it should never have been had, and it should certainly never have been released. I think it's a disgrace that information would be let out. I saw the information, I read the information outside of that meeting. It's all fake news, it's phony stuff.
Now, it should be noted just how abhorrent the actions taken by specifically BuzzFeed are. BuzzFeed published the full text of this dossier of opposition research on Trump without fact-checking nor cross-sourcing any of it. In fact, Editor-in-Chief Ben Smith, in a note to employees, stated, quote, "There is serious reason to doubt the allegations." And then he published it anyway. Also noteworthy, NBC Universal has invested $400 million in the failing website. Dana, so the first thing that would jump out, these news agencies got this dossier. How do you think they got it?
Well, I don't know. I know of several reporters who say that throughout the last several months, they had been given it as well. So I don't know if it was the intelligence agencies that gave that out. So I think that might be a step too far, though I don't know who gave it out. But I do think it does say something about the state of journalism today, that I know they have terrible approval ratings. No one trusts them. I understand a lot of that. But all of these reporters that had been given it over the last several months, maybe they tried to verify it, they couldn't verify it, and they never published it. And I think that says something about the state of the profession and that it's probably in a lot better shape than people think.
In fact, Greg, this morning I saw Tom Brokaw from NBC saying, yeah, I knew about this report, but we couldn't substantiate it also. Now, NBC has a $400 million investment in BuzzFeed. Should NBC cut them off, distance themselves from BuzzFeed?
It's nothing but yellow journalism. They put the stream in lamestream media. Trump has a right to be pissed. And BuzzFeed, if Peter Thiel gets into the mix here, you're in trouble. All right, I think that what BuzzFeed did was amazing for Trump. In a way, because what he did was, even if there's any compromising information on Trump, and there might be from Russia, who knows about financial stuff, it doesn't matter because BuzzFeed went with the unverifiable stuff, some of the stuff that is so absurd that now the story is about evil BuzzFeed and how rotten they are and how stupid they are and how they're probably going to be gone in a month, who knows. But no one's talking about what might actually happen in the future. So it was a big victory, and it allowed. I thought it allowed the press conference to come out very strong and very forceful. And we were talking about this in the green room. I liked the part with the lawyer. Yeah. You know, it's boring but important. It's like sensitivity training that Eric and I went through today. It's like, you have to sit there. Yeah, it's true story. But
I'm rescheduled.
It's very important. And so you're going through, and I thought that was neat because they kind of put that inside as the meat in a sandwich. Yep. And I actually enjoyed listening to what he was doing, and I learned a word, emolument. But it sounds like an ointment.
Yeah. Towards the end of that, there was the most important line of that whole 15 or 20 minutes that she did. I think she was an accountant and lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Said that Mr. Trump was going to donate all the proceeds from foreign governments to the General Treasury, the U.S. Treasury, which is amazing. I've never heard of he's that rich. KG, this is not going to be popular. I expect the control room going, wait. John McCain handed that 35-page dossier of Oppo research he got from an MI6 agent, handed it to the FBI. It feels like that thing should have gone right into the garbage.
Well, I mean, I don't know all the facts and circumstances around it. I mean, I read that, so I don't know. I mean, John McCain is somebody that I, admire and know personally. So before I cast any dispersions in his direction, I'm loath to do that without having a whole fact pattern and understanding exactly what transpired there. I don't think he would proffer anything that he didn't believe to be truthful. But this is a big problem. I mean, and what you saw today is President-elect Trump really turned this whole story to his advantage by saying, look, this is not true. This is salacious. This is dishonest. And it played beautifully into the whole campaign theme where people were distrustful of the media because they weren't getting all the full reporting about the rallies and about the movement, about what was happening in this country. That's why everyone was caught so blindsided, election night, with the results. I think it's part of the reason they didn't understand what was going on. But I think it's very upsetting when you see this kind of stuff that they try to put forward to destroy reputations and destroy lives. And he made a great point today, which was, you've seen this happen to so many people. He said, no, people's lives who have been destroyed,
but who did
and
it?
Never. Well, they should find out who did it.
Well,
they should find out how.
So it's got to be either the Intel agency, one of the Intel chiefs, right, or someone in Intel, or someone who had access to it, either the MI6 agent or John McCain, or one of those guys.
But we know this report.
We know the reporters had it for months, and they didn't do anything
But they had to get it
with
from somebody.
Well, let me just
I know,
say,
but I'm not.
even Donald Trump today said, you know what, his expectation, his regard for the press actually was raised in many cases. I think he was specifically referring to the New York Times and Washington Post and others who clearly said it was unsubstantiated information. But let me just clear something up. This has been in the atmosphere of reporters, political reporters, and I'm one of them, since October. And that's because David Corn at Mother Jones wrote a story in October before the election that referred to these documents. Where do these documents come from, Eric? They come from a man who used to be a British spy, and he was initially hired by Republicans in the Republican primaries to develop a packet of opposition research on Donald Trump.
Right.
Subsequently, the Democrats, once Trump becomes the general campaign opponent for the Democrats, they start paying money to this guy for the same kind of information.
Seems to me that
now,
that would be the source of who leaks it then and tries to get it out there.
No, but hang on.
Mother Jones.
But Mother Jones was there. But guess what? Mother Jones did not go into the detail that we saw today because they didn't have everything verified. But let me just pick up on something you're talking about, which is Harry Reid then goes to Jim Comey in October. John McCain, as we've heard, John McCain hands also documents. So, gee, Jim Comey, let me get this straight. It's okay to spread innuendo about Hillary Clinton, but not to go about the dirt that you have on Donald Trump? Gee, I wonder what's going on there.
One was the basis of an investigation, and one is the basis of a false claim, unsubstantiated.
There's nothing. There was nothing substantiated about this. Remember when Comey and the FBI go and say, "Oh, we're going to reopen this investigation"? They had nothing. They had nothing of substance.
Hold on. They had access then to a laptop with additional information. Hold on, that they had to go through.
Yeah, and they have to go through. They have agents right now looking into this information.
I'm not saying it's right that he made a statement. I'm saying there was actually an ongoing investigation of substance and importance that they had to go through and do a thorough investigation.
And they have an ongoing investigation right now into this information.
But, okay,
there's no evidence to suggest this is true whatsoever.
And there was no evidence to suggest the charges against Hillary were true. But he publicized them.
If you live by conspiracy theories, you're going to die by them. We've found out that Ted Cruz's dad helped kill JFK. Obama's birth certificate isn't real. So if you chase conspiracy theories, sooner or later, a conspiracy theory might chase you. I think it would be great if both sides, right and left, Trump, anti-Trump, just rejects all of these, and because conspiracy thinking is really, conspiracy theories are now called fake news. Remember Pizzagate? Yeah. That was fake news, but that was from the right. So now this is from the left or anti-Trumpers. So now if you just reject all of this stuff, that would be good for everybody.
Yeah. Allow me to get this one in here. The president-elect was also asked about his dealings with Russian President Vladimir Putin, one which he described as, quote, an asset.
If Putin likes Donald Trump, guess what, folks? That's called an asset, not a liability. Now, I don't know that I'm going to get along with Vladimir Putin. I hope I do, but there's a good chance I won't. And if I don't, do you honestly believe that Hillary would be tougher on Putin than me? Does anybody in this room really believe that? Give me a break.
KG, how do you handle the Putin/Russia?
I think he was really direct about it. You know, he just spoke directly to them and said, listen, think about it. When I thought about that for a minute, do I think that she would be tough? No, I don't think he likes if somebody's pushing against him. He's going to counterpunch, right? And so if Vladimir Putin tries to act up, he's certainly not going to say, hey, no problem. He's not that person. He's not that person in business, personal life, etc. So I don't think that Vladimir Putin also thinks that he's going to get away with anything with, you know, then it'll be President Trump. I think it was very clear that Vladimir Putin, you know, he got even. He was very angry with Hillary Clinton and the Clintons in general for what happened before. And so then he said, okay, here we go.
And obviously they're going to say this, but Putin also did put out a statement saying that this quote-unquote dossier is fake news.
Yeah, I mean, which you would expect. I think that President-elect Trump has to remind himself, why is Putin powerful? Because he has no constraints or restraints against his power. It's easy to be the most powerful person in the country when you can do whatever the hell you want.
You know what struck me was he said in the news conference this morning that I think it was Russia who did the hacking. And everybody said, wow, that's great. Now, you know, that's in the past, the division between Donald Trump and the intelligence agency. Then he comes back and says later, well, you know, it could have been others. And you think, what is going on here?
Well, he said other people are hacking us, which they are.
Well, but the fact is that he, for a moment, really put trust in our intelligence agencies, which have said that they believe that Russia hacked in service to defeating Hillary Clinton.
Well, trust, but verify.
How are we doing with the Russian relationship? Are we in the right place? Where do we need to get to?
Well, I don't know. I think that there's hearings that are being held, I think, both on the House and the Senate side, mostly on the Senate side. So we'll see. And times of transitions between one administration to the next are inherently unstable times. So I think that they'll just have to see. And usually it's not so much how a president tries to drive forward an agenda, but how he reacts to things that happen. And so I think that will tell us a lot. We're going to talk later about Rex Tillerson, the Secretary of State nominee, who got asked a lot of questions about Russia today and handled it pretty well. Can I just say one thing about the press conference? I thought it was interesting to have Sean Spicer, the incoming press secretary, open it up with a very strong statement against BuzzFeed. And I thought then what they would try to do is turn it over to Donald Trump, who then, when answering questions, if he got questions about Russia, would say, I refer you to what Sean said. Now let me try to break some news and drive forward on an agenda. But not that he didn't have a successful press conference, but I think he could have done that.
And we have a lot more on that press conference.